Have you ever noticed how January 1st feels like the most judgmental day of the year? It's supposed to be a fresh start, but for most of us, it feels like a deadline we've already missed.
That is such a vivid way to put it. It's like the calendar flips over and suddenly there's this invisible person standing over your shoulder asking, "Okay, you're a completely new person now, right? Where are the six-pack abs? Where's the fluent French? Why haven't you written that novel yet?"
Exactly. It's this crushing weight of new year, new me. But today, we are going to do something different. We are going to dismantle that pressure. If you are listening to this, maybe you're feeling a bit heavy from the past year, or maybe you're anxious about the next one. We're going to look at a method that isn't about revolution, but rather evolution.
I love that distinction. Revolution implies burning everything down and starting from zero, which is exhausting and, frankly, rarely works. Evolution is about keeping what works, discarding what hurts, and growing slowly. Today, we're basing our chat on a really insightful approach to entering 2026, a method that focuses on being gentle rather than frantic.
Frantic. That's a great word to start with. We'll get into the specifics of language learning later, but the vibe we want today is the opposite of frantic. So, stay with us for the next 15 minutes. We're going to walk through a psychological framework to audit your life, improve your English vocabulary along the way, and maybe, just maybe, help you figure out how to be happier, not just busier, in the coming year.
And for those listening who are using this to sharpen their English, this is the perfect playground. We're going to use real conversational structures. No textbook robots here. Just sit back, maybe grab a warm drink, and let's unpack the year.
So, let's dive in. The core material we're looking at suggests that before we even look at 2026, we have to look at the year that just passed. But not a performance review. It's more about checking in with your body.
Right? Because your mind can lie to you. Your mind can say, "Oh, I was very productive." But your body? Your body keeps the score. If your shoulders are tight, if you're grinding your teeth, that tells the real story. The source material uses this beautiful metaphor of a heavy backpack.
I caught that. The idea that we are carrying this backpack full of rocks, stress, deadlines, failures, but also some snacks, like good memories.
Precisely. And the problem is, most people try to run into the new year without taking the backpack off. They just add more to it. Okay, I'm tired, but now I will also train for a marathon. It's a recipe for disaster. So the first step is just acknowledging the weight. How did this year feel?
It's interesting because when I ask people, "How was your year?" they usually give me a list of events. "I got a promotion," or "I moved houses." But you're asking for the emotional texture of the year.
The texture. Yes. Was it rough? Was it smooth? Was it overwhelmed? That's a keyword that came up. Being overwhelmed isn't just being busy. It's the sensation that the inputs, emails, demands, noise, are exceeding your capacity to process them. It's a flooding of the system.
I think we've all been there. The doom scrolling trap is a huge part of that, isn't it? That was another concept brought up.
Oh, absolutely. Doom scrolling is the modern addiction. It's that zombie-like state where you are lying in bed, it's 11 p.m., you know you should sleep, but you are scrolling through bad news, arguments in comment sections, or people living perfect lives.
And it's ironic, right? We do it to relax, but it actually makes us more tense.
It's a dopamine loop, but a negative one. It takes a toll on you. That's a phrase we should highlight. When something takes a toll, it's like a tax. You don't pay it all at once. You pay it little by little until you're bankrupt of energy.
So if we are looking at this heavy backpack of the past year, the goal isn't to just dump everything out. We need to sort through it. The framework proposed is simple but deceptive. Stop, keep, start.
It sounds simple, doesn't it? But the stop category is usually the hardest. It requires admitting that something you are doing is poisoning your energy.
Poisoning is a strong word.
It is, but it's accurate. Think about a habit like being a people pleaser. This was mentioned in our source text. A people pleaser is someone who has no boundaries, who says yes to everyone else until they have nothing left for themselves. That is a slow poison. It kills your autonomy.
So, for our listeners, the question is, what is the one thing, just one, that you want to leave behind at the border of 2025? Maybe it's the doom scrolling. Maybe it's the negative self-talk about your English skills.
Oh, the self-talk is huge. I sound stupid. I'm too slow. That is emotional baggage. Imagine trying to learn a language while carrying a suitcase full of rocks labeled, I'm not good enough. You have to put the suitcase down.
Okay, let's pivot to the positive. Keep. This is the part we usually skip because we are so obsessed with fixing what's broken.
Right. We ignore the things that are actually keeping us sane. The text mentioned a wind-down routine, dimming the lights, reading a book, stepping away from screens.
I love the term wind down. It implies a mechanical toy that has been spinning too fast and you just let it slow down until it stops.
Exactly. It's about a soft landing. If you crash into your pillow at 100 miles per hour with your brain still racing, you're not resting, you're just unconscious. There is a difference. So identifying what gives you that soft landing, whether it's a walk, a chat with a friend, or just cooking dinner, and consciously deciding I am keeping this is powerful. It validates your current success.
It's about being grounded. That was another key term. Feeling stable.
Yes, grounded is when your feet are on the floor and your head is not in the clouds or in your smartphone. It's a sense of presence.
Now, the scary part. Start. This is where everyone writes down. I will go to the gym 5 hours a day.
Laughs. And by January 4th, the gym is empty. The mistake here is scale. The source material advocates for bite-sized changes.
Bite-sized, like a snack.
Exactly. Something so small it would be embarrassing not to do it. If you want to learn English, don't say, I will study grammar for 2 hours. Say, I will listen to one podcast while I wash the dishes.
It's about lowering the barrier to entry.
It's about bypassing the brain's fear response. If a goal is intimidating, meaning it makes you feel small or scared, you will procrastinate. If the goal is bite-sized, your brain says, oh, I can do that in 5 minutes. And then you actually do it.
You know, there was a really interesting point about negotiating with yourself. Like, you are both the boss and the employee.
That's a fascinating dynamic. We often act like tyrants to ourselves. Do this, do that. But effective self-leadership is a negotiation. Okay, I don't want to work out, but what if I just put on my shoes? Okay, I can do that. You have to treat yourself with the same respect you'd treat a friend.
It seems like the underlying theme of this entire approach, and the English Leap philosophy in general, is removing the drama.
Yes, removing the drama and the performance. We live in a world that demands we perform our lives for an audience, even if that audience is just our own critical inner voice. This approach asks you to go on autopilot less and be intentional more.
Autopilot, that's the danger zone. Driving through life without touching the steering wheel.
Right, and breaking autopilot doesn't require a massive shock. It just requires a moment of pause, like right now. If you're listening to this, just take a breath. That's it. You just broke autopilot. You are here now.
I want to circle back to the language aspect for a moment. We've used some rich vocabulary today. For someone listening who wants to use this START method for their English in 2026, what would a bite-sized start look like?
I'd suggest the narrator technique mentioned in the text. It's brilliant. You don't need a teacher or a partner. You just talk to yourself. You're making coffee? Say, I am pouring the water. The water is hot.
It feels a bit silly at first, doesn't it?
Oh, it feels ridiculous. But that's the point. If you can be silly with the language, you stop being afraid of it. You stop treating English like a fragile glass vase that you might break, and you start treating it like a ball you can kick around.
That connects back to the idea of a safe environment. The text described a dinner with friends where phones were away, and it felt safe. We need to create that safety inside our own heads.
Absolutely. Psychological safety is the bedrock of learning. If you are constantly judging yourself, your brain shuts down. It goes into survival mode. You can't learn in survival mode. You can only survive.
So, to recap the framework we've built here, we look at the heavy backpack of the past year. We acknowledge the overwhelm. We choose one thing to stop, something that takes a toll. We choose one thing to keep, something that keeps us grounded. And we choose one thing to start, but it must be bite-sized.
And we do all of this without the frantic energy. We do it with a sense of kindness.
It sounds almost too easy.
That's how you know it might actually work. The hard things are easy to announce. The easy, consistent things are hard to maintain, but they are the ones that change your life.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought. We talked about negotiating with the future. If you could sit down with the version of yourself from December 2026, 1 year from now, what would you want that person to say to you?
That is a profound question. I think I wouldn't want them to say, "Wow, look how much money we made," or "Look how skinny we are." I'd want them to say, "Thank you. Thank you for being kind to me. Thank you for not burning us out."
Thank you for not burning us out. That is powerful. It shifts the focus from achievement to care.
Exactly. We are often sacrificing our current selves for a future self that doesn't exist yet. But if we take care of the now, the future takes care of itself.
And for the English learners, I'd hope their future self says, "Hey, remember when we were scared to speak? Look at us now having a conversation."
And realizing that the fear was just a shadow. It wasn't a wall, it was just a shadow.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from doom scrolling and emotional baggage to finding a soft landing.
We have. And if you missed a definition or a phrase, don't worry. That's the beauty of a podcast. You can rewind, you can listen again. Repetition is the mother of skill.
And remember, you don't have to fix your whole life today. You don't even have to fix it this week. The year is long.
The year is long and you have time. Just put one foot in front of the other.
So, as you go about your day, whether you're walking the dog, commuting, or hiding from your dishes, think about your 3 things. Stop, keep, start.
And keep it bite-sized.
Thank you for letting us be a part of your routine today. It's a privilege to be in your ears.
It really is. Here's to a gentle, grounded, and articulate 2026.
Take care of yourselves.
Goodbye for now.